Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it is once again time for everybody's favorite moment of the month, the tier list update. That is not controversial or subjective at all. It is highly objective, and it is godly. Uh, but we have quite a few units to go through. We've got all four of the Overlord characters, four skill fusions, and my voice is not going to last this entire time, so we're just going to jump right into the protectors. A few things that need to change though. Trainee is coming down, and Shion is going up. Trainee hasn't really been used since she originally came out. She was really good for Valor Cup and has been hard replaced by New Year's Fox Shion. And she's not only good in Valor Cup, but also good in other places too, because of just how much power she's bringing and that passive skill point gain. So I think these are fair switcheroos right here. Free-to-play Gabiru is a decent free-to-play protector. His element buff is limited to 2 categories, which is unfortunate. He stacks points very slowly, but he is at a stacking green protector, which we don't really have that many of. So we can definitely get some use out of him, but he's not super duper powerful. And then Rimuru from the Overlord collab is also going into Godly. We don't have that many green stacking protectors, as I just got done saying, and he is just a complete disgusting power creep over the first anniversary Dark Veldora. Passively raising skill cap, extra skill points on greens, all element buff. He's doing and skill resetting. He's doing pretty much anything you want a stacking protector to do, which is a generic buff, resetting skills, and more skill points on orbs, and with the skill cap raise. So it's like you can't get much better than that. It is unfortunate because mostly stacking teams are limited to blues, and we don't have a blue team that can reset skill costs yet, and I don't think we will because it's too strong. But eventually, maybe down the line, we can think about it. But Rimuru has very generic buffs, very, very good use case, and any green team can benefit. Even if you're not getting that 60% damage buff from Stern of Spirit, he's going to work a whole lot better than Dark Veldora. And Dark Veldora actually has been useful since he came out. Like, I still like this Veldora. I still used him, a lot. And then Rimuru came out, so now Veldora goes bye-bye. So very, very, very good protector. Deserves to be up in the top with these other characters. The free-to-play battle unit, Nabe, is going to go, I think, into C tier. And that's strictly because that on her own team, she's like up here, or even up here. But you take her off of her team and she has one useful skill. And that is not enough. She has the same issue that Diablo has, is that on their team, they are really, really good. And off of team, they are really not good. Like, I'm not bringing you for a blue to green orb change, and that's it. I'm going to bring Isis for that, because she's got 2 useful skills. If I'm bringing the Stern of Spirit team, then yes, you're tippity top. Just like if I'm going to bring the New Year's team, Diablo is pretty much up there. But in most cases, after the metas are over, I'm really not, except for like one Jubilee fight in a couple months or so. So it's just her, unfortunately, being a little bit too restricted. If they had made her skill like the blue orb change and a special convert like what Trya has, put her up there. She would have been great, but she didn't. So she's not up there. And I don't see much argument for it. Alright, so these guys. Let's rank the skill fusions first because I haven't done any of them. I haven't actually skill fused any of them. I'm just going to go based on purely what I think they're going to do. Where is Hinata right now? Light Hinata. She's in C. Yeah, she's gonna stay in C. Her skill fusion took her defense skill, which is 40% defense, and made it 3 turns for her, or for everybody. Cool. And then all light allies get that 20% element resistance. I don't think between that and her special convert for oranges is gonna push her any higher realistically, especially with that element resist being only for light characters. No, not good enough. Water Hinata being a nuker. Where is Water Hinata? Up here in A, decent but limited. I'm gonna drop her down actually, into B tier, and she's also going to be in B tier for her skill fusion. She's a very, very old nuker. She has a crit seal, which is nice. Her that's on her second skill. Her skill fusion, her second skill, instead of stacking alt damage by 5% to a max of 60, it stacks at 15% to a max of 60. So much, much faster, but still, you know, I'm not bringing you as a nuker at this point in time. And then the Leons. Light Leon is up in B tier. He will remain in B tier. The only thing that it gave him was a AoE light resistance down, which is probably one of the weakest debuffs in the game. Just, you know, element resistance down isn't as strong as you want it to be. And then Space Leon became a slightly better AoE nuker. Still, I don't think enough to push him up into a higher tier. So not super impactful. They can, you know, be helpful in certain scenarios for newer players, but newer players are not going to have them at level 100 anyways, so it's kind of a non-factor. And now let us start the rankings. Albedo. Albedo's going to be C tier. I think Albedo is in C tier. Her Despair skill, we all know Despair's trash. The alt gauge on greens, part of it doesn't really save it. And then her stun, like, is cool, great, but it's a 55-point skill, and the stun strike is limited to 2 teams, both of which are, you know, we have the Overlord team and we have Wholehearted Devotion. Like, whoop-de-friggin' do. If you want a stunner, you can bring Light Raphael or Fire Guy, right? Fire Guy is free and it's 25 points and it has no restrictions except be able to be stunned is the stage restriction. Same with Raphael. It's a 55-point skill. It does have another effect on it, though, that is the stun strike. So, I mean, yes, it is also kind of restricted. But his usefulness as a nuker is a lot better than your AoE with 2 worse teams. Alright, so that's why she's situational at best. You can use her to stun, sure, but if that's all you're doing, there's better options. Xiao tier, I think I will be a little bit nicer to her. Her Despair skill, still not super duper great, but I think that she will actually kind of go up into the A tier, decent but limited. And I could see arguments for moving her down into B tier. In fact, I'm going to put her in B tier, actually, never mind. Her alt damage buff is restricted to the same 2 teams that Albedo is restricted to her stun strike. Not great. Her Despair skill is kind of ass. Her 80% defense down is not that powerful, but it can make a difference. And she rushes her own alt on that Despair. So she is slightly self-sufficient as an AoE Dark Nuker. I foresee us using her a little bit in future AoE Jubilee stages that are, you know, for normal battles. But I don't think that's enough to push her up, actually. So no A tier for you. Ainz. Ainz, I think, actually is the A tier unit. So he's a good DPS, right? He gives himself guaranteed crit, he gives himself a 70% magic buff, and he has Despair. Despair is terrible. It already drops him down. His guaranteed crit, really only useful for him. Stern of Spirit or Commander, still not super great teams, and then his magic buff is cool and everything, but, you know, we have Violet, 100% magic. So, unfortunately, if his second skill was better, if Despair was just a better skill, all 3 of these units would be eaten a lot better, but unfortunately, they're not. So they get ranked a little lower than what you think. And as most of us know, DPS units are the first ones to fall off, because they always get replaced by a new DPS for whatever meta happens that month. And then it becomes up to their support skill to make them viable in the future. Jean is viable, you know, 2-3 months later, because she's got that 100% alt buff, which is bigger than anything we've gotten in one skill in like a one-time use, instead of being like Summer Lumi where you got to use Protector 5 times or something like that. Ainz, you know, his guaranteed crits, it's like, cool, we have the hero for that. Okay, what else are you doing? That's it. So Ainz, decent but limited. I can think that he will slowly fall into B tier as the months go by. And then we have Shizu, the goddess of this meta, the savior of this meta. Now, I always said that Blanc is verging on triple S, but the one thing that holds her back is the number of units that actually give synergy rate, which is a big part of her buff, or her debuff, because it's 100% weakness strike and 50% synergy resistance down. But when there's only like 3 characters that do synergy, and 2 of them are protectors, it becomes quite difficult to activate that. So that's why she's on double S. Shizu has no such restrictions. She's on a green team. She swaps 3 alt orbs to greens. Perfect. That's what Blanc does for blues. And then her other skill is weakness strike and alt resistance down. Both skills that are unrestricted, can be used by anybody, and are just a great buff in one skill. Right? It's not Stern of Spirit characters get weakness strike. It's not Wholehearted Devotion get stun strike. It's not alt resistance down for certain things. It's just straight up like good buff. Good buff, good alt swap ability. She is triple S godly. So that is the tier list update for the month of February 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think I am being too harsh to Albedo and Xiaotier and Ainz? Do you think I overvalue Shizu? Let me know, but that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.